Hello there, ladies. Welcome to our webinar on how to have a steady stream of new, ideal, hungry leads and clients each and every month. And I know that's what you want, right? And I know that's one of the biggest questions that I hear from businesswomen is, how do I find more clients? So let's dive on in and real quick, I know that I recognize a number of names that sign up for this webinar, but some of you are brand new names, and you're probably wondering, who is this Claire character? And just super, super quick, my career experience, like my corporate experience, was always in training and coaching. Well, I was an accountant for a couple of years, but then I switched to corporate training and coaching and actually had my master's degree in training from North Carolina State University, and also focused on training and coaching as a Mary Kay sales director. What I loved best about a Mary Kay sales director is actually that I had a whole unit of women that I can train and motivate and encourage each week through our weekly meetings. And I coupled my corporate and career experience with some life experiences. And one of the biggest transformational experiences for me was when my son was just born. He was 3 months old, and I had been diagnosed with advanced breast cancer. It was super advanced. It was, huge. It had spread. It was a unique type 2. So my chances of survival, given by the doctors anyway, were not very high. But it was actually the biggest blessing, as crazy as that might sound. And just to realize at such a young age, I was 35 when I was diagnosed, and it was a long process, a year and a half at least, of just tons of surgeries, mastectomy, and tons of chemotherapy, and having no hair, and then your hair growing back, which takes a while, tons of radiation. But during that experience, it really gave me at a young age such a unique life perspective. Like, gosh, life is short, right? It is short. And it gave me this burning desire deep in my belly that I wanted to grow into the best Christian wife and mom and woman that I wanted to become. And I know many of you don't know me from back in my corporate days, but if you did, and now you hear me saying, I just wanted to be the wife and the mom, and I had this burning desire to get back into the home, right? I wanted to be there. I wanted to be that active mom that is volunteering in school and at the soccer games, and that active, present wife that's there for my husband, and that's there as a daughter and a friend. But corporate world, doesn't really, for me, I just felt like when I was working a corporate job that my family was not getting the best of me, right? They were getting my leftovers at the end of the day, which I barely had anything left, and I just was like, this is not a way that I want to live. I want to get back in the home or get into the home. And again, those of you who know me from corporate would probably, like even me, when I hear myself say that, it almost sounds archaic to my old self, right? But now that this is my burning desire to get back in the home. And the reality is that my husband is a teacher here in North Carolina, and I love that he's a teacher, but they get paid like next to nothing, especially in North Carolina. I think we're the second lowest paid. They haven't received an increase in the last 7 years, right? So they used to get paid nothing, and now they really get paid nothing. So the reality for me to stay home was that I needed a significant income to be able to do that, right? We wouldn't barely be able to pay the bills, really, like beyond the mortgage and some basic bills on my husband's salary. So many of you might be like that, right? You want to get home for whatever the reason. Hopefully it isn't something as dramatic as a life-threatening illness, and you want a significant income. Maybe you need it, maybe because your husband's income isn't huge, or maybe you're the sole provider, or whatever that reason might be, that you're not just wanting to make an extra, 100 or 200 or 1,000 or 2,000. You're wanting a significant income, consistently, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 months. So this whole life experience, it has brought me to this business where, again, what I loved about Mary Kay was that I had a whole unit of women that I can help and motivate and train and encourage. But I was like, I want to help women regardless of what business, regardless of where they're located in the United States. And it truly has, I'm just on fire for this, and I truly have dedicated my life to helping other women and moms who want the same thing. My differentiating factor, I especially work with the service-based women entrepreneur, and especially mompreneurs. And so when I say service-based women entrepreneurs, they're coaches or consultants or healers or mentors, and they're struggling with knowing how to authentically package and market their expertise, right? A lot of these folks are selling their time, their solution I also do work with, some folks in direct sales as part of what I've got an accountability club, but my forte is really around the service-based women entrepreneur. And my passion is to help them get results in the quickest, easiest way. Like in 12 weeks, it's called the fast track mentoring. Let's get it all up and running. Your whole business, right? Your whole sales and marketing funnel, your marketing plan. Let's get you new clients. Let's get it all done now and get you off this learning roller coaster, where you probably know what to do. Let's just do it. Let's get to work and let's implement. That is my focus. That friendly little kick in the skirt to get you up and running and implementing. My passion is also around getting a heck of a lot done in part-time hours. So many of my clients also want to work part-time hours. So right now, I just want to work when my son is at school. And there's a lot to do. So we just need to be really streamlined and good with how we're spending our time. So that's just a little bit about me. But enough about me. Let's focus on you. And you sign up for this webinar for some reason. Maybe you can relate to her. This is Taking Forever Frida, where she's like, oh my gosh, I feel like this is taking forever. Like I really would have thought that by now I would be experiencing those consistent, $5, $8, $10,000 months. This is taking forever. So I don't know if you can relate to Taking Forever Frida, or maybe you can relate to her, multi-armed Martha, where she's like, I just don't know what to do first. I mean, do I work on my website, or do I create my training program, or am I over here marketing? Like, what am I supposed to do first? And ladies, I know it is overwhelming because there is a lot to growing a business. Or maybe you're just hard on yourself, right? You're hard on yourself, Helen, where you look at these business owners and you think that they were an overnight success, right? You see the success that they're experiencing, and you feel like, why did it come so easy to her? Like, I just feel like I should be there. Or not even so much maybe coming from you internally, but there is so much darn hype on the internet, right? These, take this training program and, you'll be instantly making, $10,000 a month, or join this organization or this network marketing company and instantly. And I got to tell you, and I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but there is no such thing as an overnight success. There's not. Ladies, this takes time to build your business. Yes, there are ways where you can take years and years off of that process, right, off of that learning and implementation process, but bottom line is it takes time. I mean, if you're starting a business now and you're expecting to make $10,000 starting in a couple of months, again, I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but hopefully you can actually experience peace in that for all of us, it takes time. It's just trying to figure out ways then to speed that process up, because we all go through the same process. We all go through the same process of, just starting out as an entrepreneur, and then we're this developing entrepreneur, and then we're this emerging entrepreneur where people are actually, they're paying for our services, and our name is getting out there. And so we all go through the same process. Again, it's just trying to figure out how to fine-tune that and take some years off of it. But again, just know that it's not an overnight success. And part of it being, if you look at this, right, we do want to be that person in the middle, right? We're like, oh my gosh, I'm a legit business owner. Look at this. I love it. I'm making such an impact for my clients. It's easy for me to find new clients. Oh my gosh, this is what I pictured. But how do we get there? And there's 6 things really for us to be thinking about as we're growing a business. The first, if you look at the top left, is your business a good fit for you? And you might be shocked to know that I've got clients that come to me and they're in one business and they really realize, this isn't my passion. Maybe I got into it just because I thought it'd be easy money, or, I just thought it was going to be easy. But it's not really a true fit of their brilliance. And a lot of times when you're in that right, like even think about Mary Kay, right? Mary Kay is a great company. It's a great organization, so I would never bash it. But it just wasn't my thing, right? I did what it took to get to that sales director level, right, to earn that car, but it felt like work. Oh, my gosh. What I loved, again, like I said, I loved the weekly training meeting and having this group of women that I can just sort of simplify the business building process for, but that was not a money-earning activity in that business, right? That business was about team building, recruiting. It was about holding skincare classes. So my business now, though, if you think about encouraging and training and simplifying the business building process, that is a money-earning activity. So a lot of that is just making sure you're in the right business, because I'm the same person, right, when I was in Mary Kay versus now. It's a complete alignment. And hopefully you know if you're in that alignment. And a lot of times it's something like our past experiences, good or bad, has just brought us to this point where we're so passionate about helping folks solve specific problems. And then you've got your whole craft, right? This is beyond even your how to grow a business. I mean, you're a massage therapist, right? So it is you being really good at giving massages, you knowing and being up to date on the latest modalities, right? So you have your whole craft, and that's a learning process. And then you've got the business building skills, which is part of what we're going to be talking about today. How do you market, right? How do you manage your finances? How do you do all of that? What do you do when you're on a Facebook business page, right? All that business building stuff. And then you've got all of our work habits, right? Being good and consistent with our work habits. How we're managing our time and how we're staying organized. And so that there's a huge piece there, our work habits. And then we've got what's happening between our ears and really having that winning mindset, right, that confidence. Because as we're on this business building process, we're all going to have whatever you call her. I call her my negative Nellie, right, that voice in the back of your mind being like, who are you? Or, what are you doing? And just go back and get a job like everyone else. And, that negative Nellie. And you truly developing that belief and that confidence in yourself that this is absolutely possible and that you deserve this success, right? There's a lot that gets into winning mindset. I mean, I can do probably a whole 2 days on just winning mindset and your whole wealth consciousness. And, are you truly believing that you deserve this success, this financial success from you utilizing where it probably comes so easy to you, right? Your God-given talents and skills, and then lots of faith, right? Lots of faith. Oh my gosh, as you're growing your business, you're going to fall down on the ground so many times, and it's just taking that faith. And for me, it is my faith in God, right? That I believe that this seed of desire to have this incredibly successful business that is built around my family, that I'm working part-time, right, so it's super streamlined, it's highly profitable, but that seed of desire that God planted, he's not messing with me, right? He didn't just plant that seed of desire and it being unattainable. It's absolutely 100% attainable. Yeah, there's going to be times where I'm going to fall on down, right? We do that. But as business owners, having that faith, but you know what? Let me just stay focused. This dream, the seed of desire, is 100% attainable, so let me get back on up quicker than before, let me dust off my knees, and let me keep on going. So some of you may be thinking, oh, gosh, I see why this isn't an overnight thing, because there's so much to it, and it's a process. I'm sure you've heard that having your business is like the biggest professional development journey or program or whatever that you can ever take. And that's true. We learn so much about ourselves as being entrepreneurs, but I see that's such a blessing, right? Like, I love the fact that through this business, I have been and I will continue to keep growing into that woman that I want to be, right? That woman I strive to be, that wife, that mom, that friend. So to me, I just see it as an incredible blessing. But again, just let's not be so hard on ourselves because you started your business 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago and you're not where you wanted to be. There's just a lot. There's a lot to it, and you're probably focusing on what I've got bold here, the business building skills, which again is what we're going to be talking about today, marketing, which is just one component of it. But just know there's a lot to it. So really having someone who can walk you through and make sure that you are developing on all 6 of these categories is huge. So what are we going to cover today? So when you signed up for this webinar, I said that we're going to talk about how to find new ideal hungry leads each and every month using what I call these rinse and repeat marketing strategies, and how to have an authentic marketing plan, right? One that works for you and it fits your personality. And we're also going to talk about what has been what has been sabotaging you. What are some of those general common obstacles that sabotage pretty much all of us? But we're going to forget it. We're not going to let it sabotage us anymore. We're going to overcome it. We're just going to know it's part of the process, and we're going to overcome it as quickly as possible so we can truly have that financial success and that confidence and that joy and pleasure in running your business. So let's go ahead and we're going to dive on in. And I'm going to ask you first, you don't need to share this, but are you struggling financially? Do you feel like you're working a whole heck of a lot in your business, but you're just not seeing it at the end of the month, right, when you look at everything that came in and everything that went out with all of the expenses, what are you left with? Are you left with, oh my gosh, it was, $2,000, but I had $1,000 in expenses, so it's $1,000. And are you feeling like that's just not cutting it? And if you're struggling financially for any reason, I will bet with full confidence that you've got a dry and broken or non-existent sales and marketing funnel. And this, of all of those 6 pieces I was showing you about growing a business, this is the easiest to fix. And all the other things will be, again, you're sort of a work in progress. And your sales and marketing funnel is a work in progress as well. But we need to at least get a sales and marketing funnel up and running. Let me see if I can get my little annotation tools here. Here we go. So when you've got a sales and marketing funnel that is flowing, that is when you can have a financially strong business. But if you've got holes, let's say you've got some holes in this funnel and your leads are leaving, or just parts of it that's completely non-existent, this is just not going to be the reality. So how do we do this? Let me get off my annotation tool here. Okay, this is your sales and marketing funnel, and this is how you can get new leads that are flowing through your business and creating new business. So there's 3 main parts to it. Let me go ahead and grab my pen here again. All right, this is the title of the webinar, right? How do you get people at the top part of your sales and marketing funnel that are new, they're ideal clients, they're hungry, meaning they know they've got issues, they know they've got struggles, and they're at the point where they're looking for some solutions that you could possibly help them with. How do you find these people, right? How do you become visible to these people? And ultimately, it's about working a marketing plan. A couple of rinse and repeat strategies. But this is one thing where most businesswomen are working without a plan, right? They're doing a little bit here and a little bit there, because a lot of times if I meet with somebody and I'll say, okay, how have you been marketing your business? It's like, well, I've got a website. I've been going to some networking events. I've got a business card. Simply not enough people are hearing about that. So that's the top part of the funnel we're going to talk about. But that's not enough, right? That's huge, right? We want you to be working a marketing plan. We want tens to hundreds of people, new people, hearing about you. And the challenge is the problem that you solve and how you solve them each and every month. So that's huge, right? We want to just sort of what I call open the floodgates so more and more people are hearing about you. And that's huge, but it's not enough, okay? When these people are hearing about you, a lot of times they're not ready to get married right away, right? They hear about you and how wonderful you are and, oh, my gosh, they're really interested in what you've got to offer. But the majority of them are not ready to get married right away, right, meaning become a client right away. Probably 97% of them are not ready to get married right away. 3%, it's perfect timing because they were struggling they wanted to get a website created, and they didn't know where to start, and they've been looking for a website designer, and they met you at a networking event, and you're a website designer. Perfect timing, and they become a client. I mean, I can tell you that there's times when I go. Last year, one of my strategies, my rinse and repeat marketing strategies, was to go and present to live groups that were already formed, live networking groups, and I would go and I presented continually last year. And there would be times where I would present, and at the end of that networking meeting, someone's like, I've been looking for a coach. You seem perfect. How do we start working together? But again, that's 3% of the time. 97% of the people who were listening to that talk that I gave, like my signature talk, was like, that was really good. That was interesting, right? That was good information. I might want to work with you at some point. I want to find out more. I'd love to learn more, right? They're ready to date. So if I didn't have some way that I met them at that network or I presented to their group, if I didn't have some way to ask their permission to stay in that funnel, right, for me to keep in touch, to go on my email list, and for me to then start dating them, right, adding value, it's called deepening the relationship with your list. If I didn't do that, all those people would have fallen out of my funnel, and I would have worked so hard, right, traveling all over the area, presenting, and that would have been time not well spent. Again, I got some clients out of it, but if I didn't get 97% of them in my funnel, right? And of course I didn't do it saying, well, I want you, let's get you added to my list. I always had some way. Maybe I was raffling something off, or a lot of times I had a gift for them, like maybe a free training video on how to market with ease and authenticity, and I would love to give them this free gift. And I would hand around this little card, box. It was a box, and I said, just go ahead and throw in your business card if you're interested in getting that free training video. And also, I'd love to come into your email inboxes every Thursday with encouragement and motivation and training as you're creating this business that you love. But if you're not interested in that, no worries at all. Just go ahead and put a little X on your business card, and I know that you're wanting this free gift, but I won't add you to my email list. So that was a way to get their permission, right? So that's a huge part of the funnel. Now I'm dating these people, right? I'm keeping in touch, and through me it's more of your traditional online networking, online business building, where I do send a weekly email. That does not make sense for all of you at all, depending on your ideal client, your personality, what you're selling. But for me, that was my dating relationship. But we need to figure out some dating relationship, and so I want to be consistent there. And then we want to move a percentage of them to become clients, to actually convert these into clients. So we'll talk about that because there's a lot that's actually involved with that. But we want a free-flowing sales and marketing funnel so we can actually have a profitable business. So that is your sales and marketing funnel that we're going to be talking about. So let's dive on deep. And you might, as you're listening, you might see places where you're like, oops, yep, totally do not have that part of your sales and marketing funnel. And I can tell you that when I start working with clients one-on-one, most of them do not have all three parts of this up and running. It's almost non-existent. They have a little bit, but nowhere near the level and the consistency that they need to have this free flowing of new leads that are becoming clients each and every month. All right, so let's start diving deep into here. Let's talk about the top, right? We're wanting new leads coming into our funnel. So it's about working a marketing plan. And again, you signed up for the title that was How to Have a Steady Stream of New Ideal, Hungry Leads and Clients Each and Every Month. But where some people are stuck is at the very, very, very top part of the funnel is who the heck are we going to be, who do you want to be attracting into your funnel? So many people are stuck there because they're marketing to way too many people instead of figuring out, well, who is ideal and who is hungry? Because when you market to everyone, you can truly end up tired and broke and really marketing to no one. And I can tell you that was my initial mistake with my Mary Kay business because I was like, well, everyone is my client, right? Anyone with skin is my client. Yeah, anyone with skin can use my products or services, but if I'm marketing a same sales marketing message to everyone, right, whether they're in college or whether they're a stay-at-home mom or a senior, like a retiree or a busy working professional, I am missing the mark. And if I'm going to figure out, so again, it's a very diluted marketing message if I market to everyone. Plus, where the heck do I market? Because everyone with skin is hanging out everywhere. So it starts here. Who is ideal and hungry? And I want you to meet my ideal client. Her name is Ready to Ramp It Up, Rhonda. And she is a health coach. She's got 2 young kids. She lives in Virginia in a different state than me. And she's got the bits and pieces of her business up and running already. She's been working with some clients, getting them good results. But she just doesn't have it all together yet. She just feels like she's still missing something because she's consistently bringing in $1,000 or $2,000 a month and not $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month. And she's at the point where she knows she's in the right business. Again, she's confident she can get some folks results, but she's ready to ramp it up. She's ready to get serious now. So that's Ready to Ramp It Up, Rhonda. So when I'm figuring out where to market, I am not figuring out where are all the possible businesswomen in the world hanging out. I'm saying, where is this Ready to Ramp It Up, Rhonda? This mom who is wanting to grow this business but grow it around her family. She's generally just working during the day while her kids are at school. So it really helps me know where to market when you know that. So first, ask yourself that. Who is ideal and hungry that we want to be filling up at the top part of your funnel? And the second thing would be, well, how are you going to market? So how are you going to reach, maybe you're a health coach and your client is Tired Terry, right? She is someone who is sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And she's got these vague aches and pains, and she's just feeling blah, but there hasn't been a diagnosis. Or maybe there's been a diagnosis like fibromyalgia because they just know she's in pain, but they don't know what the heck's causing it. If that's your market, Tired Terry, how are you going to market to Tired Terry? And it's figuring out, well, where is she online and offline where she'd be open to hearing your message? And it really depends. Where to reach Tired Terry depends. I mean, you could have, I've got clients, a lot of clients who are massage therapists, and no two marketing plans look exactly the same. But you probably would think, well, it should be a one-size-fits-all, right, if it's a massage therapist. But it really depends. And it depends on, grab my little pen here, it depends on strategies that are going to effectively connect with your ideal client and where he or she would be open to hearing your message. So if I've got Tired Terry, right, my ideal client, Ready to Ramp It Up Rhonda, she's generally open to hearing my message if I do go to present to her live networking group. Or she's generally open to hearing my message if she sees me in the newsfeed and Facebook about a free webinar that I'm doing. But maybe she would not. Maybe that same person is not open to hearing my message at the grocery store when I just sort of, bombard her with, hey, I see you've got a business card there and you must be a business owner. I do this. And she might not be open to hearing that message. So even though you know your ideal client, where is he or she most open and receptive to your message? That's the first thing. And where is he or she hanging out online and offline in a place that you would genuinely, authentically want to be anyway? Which then goes into this other thing, strategies that fit your personality. And that might be why two massage therapists' marketing plan might look different. Well, first of all, their ideal client might be different, right? Maybe one of them focuses more on fertility massage, right? People who are struggling with getting pregnant, or their pregnancy massages, right? Or someone who is for medical massage, that deep tissue. And so their ideal clients might be different, but also that massage therapist as an individual might be different, because I'm all about you picking strategies that fit your personality, right? Because if there are so many different ways to market, why pick a strategy that feels icky, right? Maybe you're an introvert or an extrovert, find strategies that feel authentic to you. So you don't need to be like everyone else. Be the best you when it comes to marketing, truly. Because if a strategy feels icky, don't you think you'll find every reason in the book to procrastinate? Or do you think you'll be nearly as effective utilizing that strategy opposed to someone else where that strategy does fit their personality? So that's huge. And being okay with that, hopefully that gives you a sigh of relief that, you know what, you're right, Claire. If I don't want to go to these live networking events, or if I don't want to speak right now, hopefully you're not hearing the message that I'm saying, don't ever go outside your comfort zone, because that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying when you're creating a marketing plan, why not start with strategies that fit your personality and get good and consistent? And I can tell you, the more years you're in your business, you are going to be getting outside your comfort zone, but that's huge. And lastly, are strategies that you can commit to doing consistently, because it's all about consistency, right? It's not about doing 4 blog posts in 1 week and then taking 3 weeks off. That's not going to cut it. So if you can't commit to doing a blog post once a week, then maybe it's a different strategy that you focus on. So strategies that you can commit to doing consistently. So that's huge. So that's why it takes a little bit of thought about what your strategies are, and it's not a one-size-fits-all, but it's figuring out what those strategies are. And then, most importantly, getting it down on paper. This is actually the template that I use for myself and for my clients. And I have them focus on those 3, just picking 3 core strategies, 3 winning strategies that meet this criteria. They're strategies where they can reach their ideal client, they're strategies that fit their personality, and they're strategies that they can commit to doing consistently. And what are those 3 strategies? So for me, for example, one of my strategies is live networking events, because at Ready to Ramp It Up Rhonda, they're hanging out there. Another one for me is online networking, like Facebook. And then my third strategy is providing free content. So increasing my expert status through speaking, like holding webinars, speaking and writing, like on my blog post. So me providing free content. So those are my 3 strategies, are live networking events, online networking, and increasing my expert status through giving away content. So I take that a step further, though. If I say, okay, one of my strategies is going to be live networking events. So let me actually get my pen here. So if this was live networking, strategy number 1, well, the reason I have 3 here is because, just as a guideline, if that's going to be one of my strategies, I want it to be robust enough. So I generally do not think that being part of just one networking group is going to be enough, that it's going to be enough traction, again, for enough new people to be hearing about you to increase your visibility. I also don't think that you should be part of like 10 different networking groups, because networking is all about really building those relationships, right, really getting to know people. So how can you possibly get to know all the people in those 10 different networking groups and have one-on-ones? But again, 3 is just a guideline. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 4, maybe it is 6 because of where you're at in your business, and it's truly a local market. And just the more people and the way that you get your name out there. So again, 3 is just a guideline. But I do. So let's say I've got 3 different networking groups that I'm part of. The most important part then and it's missing for so many folks, is these ongoing marketing action items. Where as my client, I say, great, you're going to these networking events, but so what? Like, how are you going to make the most out of it? How are you going to cross your T's and dot your I's? Because the dollars are truly in those finishing details. I mean, you can spend a lot of time going to these networking events, but I would want to say, okay, let's just be really planful on how you're going to utilize that time to make the most out of marketing. And if you think of what marketing is about building relationships, right? It's about just getting to know someone else. So how can you deepen the relationship? One of my marketing action items, and the example could be, is that I'm holding at least one one-on-one meeting a week where I'm just having a casual conversation over coffee with another business owner, and we're just getting to know each other. And I'm doing that consistently. Now, I like to use my time wisely. So if I'm going to a networking event already, I want my one-on-ones to be right before that networking meeting or right after, right? I'm not just going to be out and about meeting people for coffee whenever. That's not a good use of my time. So, for example, I've got a networking meeting this Friday. So I'll see tomorrow. So I'm meeting with someone right before that networking meeting, because that's a great use of my time. So that's a marketing action item, would be that. Have at least one one-on-one meeting a week. Or it could be something like that I am going to send a nice to meet you email to every new person that I meet, that I had a conversation with, not just grabbing people's business cards, but that I had a conversation with. Like, for example, I went to a networking meeting last Friday for coffee, and there was 2 people that I chatted with, and I followed up. Sent them an email, so great to meet you, and they were both new. So great to meet you, hopefully you'll love being part of this group, and I know we talked a bit, gave you some ideas for your business, but let's hop on the phone. I'd love for us just to chat. Let's, get to know each other a bit more and talk more about your business. And so that's a marketing action item, right? Again, I'm just being planful. That's what so much of it is. When these things that you're doing, just get them down on paper, and then you've got a plan. And you know what? You've got a marketing plan, and you just work the plan. No more, no less, almost, right? You really put your marketing blinders on. Sorry, I just lost the screen there for a second. Here we go. But that's huge, just getting it down on paper. And if you're marketing without a plan, you're most likely not doing it to its fullest. So you're most likely not having a whole new steady stream of new ideal clients and leads coming into your business each and every month. All right, so who is ideal and hungry, right, your ideal client? How are you going to market? So what are your 3 winning strategies going to be? And flesh it through with the marketing plan. And then last but not least is, when are you going to market? So this is huge, right? Everything's huge, because creating an ideal client character, one that you know inside and out, and creating a marketing plan, but actually making sure that you're doing those things on your marketing plan. That's huge. When are you going to market? So I love to have a couple of rinse and repeat strategies, and I also love to get these things on my calendar. So actually, let me go back up to this slide. So let's say that, again, my 3rd strategy, right, is providing free content and increasing my expert status. So one of that is through a blog post. And so a marketing action item is that I'm going to send that blog post out as an e-zine. So every Thursday, right, y'all are going to be getting a friendly little email from me. So that's a marketing action item that I'm going to send out a weekly e-zine that's going to have my blog post in there. So I would actually want to ask you then, okay, when are you going to do that? Are you going to write your blog post or your e-zine every Monday from 1 to 3? Well, great. Get it blocked out on your calendar, right? Get it into your success calendar. And I also then like to group my like activities together. So last year, live networking was huge for me. Wednesday was all about networking for me. I didn't have any client calls. I would have a morning weekly networking meeting, and then I led a lunch meeting from 12 to 1, and I would have my one-on-ones on that day, and that was all about I was out of the house all day long. And I picked those groups and those days because I wanted to be conscious of having a networking day. So I wasn't running out to networking meetings on Tuesday and on Thursday and on Friday, and right, I was able to really use my time wisely. So part of it when you have a plan is you can see that. You see, if can I group like activities together? Or if you're writing blog posts and social media posts, I mean, can you have a day that's all about creating content, right? And Mondays, you don't schedule anything else on Mondays, no client work, nothing. That's your day that you're just you're sitting on down, you could be in your pajamas all day, and you write content. So ask yourself that when you see your marketing plan. And then you want to make sure that in your marketing plan that you've got these rinse and repeat strategies, because some strategies that are so important, like going to live networking events, right, and me having one-on-ones, but that's where people are almost dripping into the top part of your funnel, right? You're meeting people here and there, and again, that's important. But you also want a couple of strategies where you open up the floodgates. You open up the floodgates. So when I have 2 webinars a month, I want to have at least 100 people signed up for each webinar. That's open up the floodgates. Another rinse and repeat strategy that I do is every quarter I lead a giveaway event. So I partner with some other experts. I'm actually getting ready to figure out who the experts are for my next giveaway. But I do that every single quarter. And I want to add 1,000 people to my list each quarter with the new content giveaway event. So you just want to make sure you do have a couple of those rinse and repeat strategies. And last year I talked about how me going and presenting to these groups, that was a rinse and repeat strategy because I just kept doing the same thing over and over again. I had my signature talk. I already had my slides created, right? I had the handouts, and I was just rinsing and repeating. I already had my email even created. So all those people who put their names in that box who wanted that free gift, I already had that email set up. You know, hi, ladies. Thanks so much for letting me present today. As promised, here's your gift. So I had it all rinse and repeat. Okay, so we just want a couple of those rinse and repeat strategies where you truly are adding, you know, tens to hundreds of people to your list each and every month. All right, so that's huge. And I sort of talked about this going into your success plan, right, that I liked having themes to my days. So whether you've got content creation day, you've got a client day. So Thursdays could be all, you know, generally Thursdays are my days where I like to have all my sales conversations. So that's the first day if I'm having a sales conversation. And then you can imagine you really get into the swing of things and you go from like call to call to call and you're super productive. But it also goes along with your marketing plan, right? You can have a networking day, you can have a this day, you can have a that day. So the more that you can do that and really be conscious about your schedule, the better. And it's truly then when you're able to do that, because some people are like, oh my gosh, Claire, that sounds so structured. That's so not me. Trust me, I am a go-with-the-flow type of girl. So I like to have this structure that actually ends up giving me so much more flexibility and so much more time off, right? Because you could truly get into the groove when you're able to really group like activities together instead of having a day that you go from different activity to different activity. And whew, okay. So that's the top part of your funnel, right, is to work from a marketing plan. So know who is ideal and hungry, who the heck are we even wanting to get into our funnel, how are you going to market, you've got your marketing plan, and actually getting these recurring activities blocked out into your calendar when you're going to market. So that's huge. All right, so then we get the second part of our funnel. So let's say you're out there and people are hearing about you. You're becoming visible. You're working your marketing plan. Well, now we want that opportunity to keep in touch, right? It's that middle part, and this is so important, and I can tell you so many people do not have this. It's one of those things where they're like, I know I should have a keep in touch strategy, right? I know I should have some type of e-newsletter. You know, we get into those words of should. I should be doing this, but we're not. I know what I'm doing, but we're not. And I don't know why. Maybe you're tripped up technically and just don't know how to do that. There's people out there who could do this like in a heartbeat. They could do it so quickly for you. So don't let that trip you up, because if you don't have the middle part of your funnel, you're losing all that work that you did working your marketing plan. They're slipping out. This middle part of the funnel right here. Sorry, I'm trying to go up here. The middle part of your funnel, they're slipping out. So they're not working their way through. So have someone else do it. Or a lot of times it's just not knowing what your strategy should be, right? I call it that dating relationship. It's for these people who are somewhat interested in what you've got to offer. They entered in your top part of your funnel somehow, right? Something you were giving away, a free ebook, a free webinar, a free talk, of something, what I call a no obligation invitation, and now you're just adding them value. Value, value, value. And a lot of times people are like, well, I just don't know what I put in a newsletter. And then I would say, well, maybe you don't know your ideal client character enough, right? Because if I know Ready to Ramp It Up Rhonda, and by the way, Ready to Ramp It Up Rhonda is not an actual client. She sort of has bits and pieces of some of my most joyful clients to work with. But she's not a person, but she's a fictional person that I see. Like, I speak to her when I'm drafting my emails or creating a blog post. And what does Ready to Ramp It Up Rhonda want to know? Well, she does want to know how to market with ease and authenticity. She also wants to know, well, how do you manage all this with kids? You know, how do you do this with eliminate some of that mommy guilt? You know, where I don't feel guilty when I'm working and I don't feel guilty when I'm with my family, because I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. She's wanting to know about cool apps, right, to save her time. So when you know your ideal client character, you will have a whole slew of things to talk about because you truly know her. But again, it doesn't need to be like everyone else does, right? It doesn't need to be a weekly email. I mean, sit down and give it some thought. Do you have a business partner, like someone else in business that you trust, that you guys can just brainstorm? Create your own dating strategy, right? A lot of times your ideal client is a lot like you. So ask yourself, what would you do if you put yourself in your ideal client character's shoes? How frequently would you want to be in touch? You know, what information are you interested in hearing about? So a lot of times it's just that. I think we feel like we have to have a keep in touch strategy like everyone else. No, just have a strategy. Have a strategy, a way that you're not going to be about, buy now, buy now, buy now. You're adding value. You're just giving them tips and information and encouragement for them to help solve the problems that you help. And you're just dripping on them, right? And you're a way of just reminding them that you're here to help. You are making relevant offers from time to time, right? 80-20, I'm sure you've heard of that rule, 80% of your communication. So 80% of the time when I'm sending you guys a Thursday email, I want it to be all about value. Hey, here's an interview I did with an expert, and hey, here's a training article, and here's a training video I put together, like just giving you. And 20% of the time saying, hey, I'm here to help. Let's work together. And sometimes we get some clients of mine, they get so good at adding value that I'm like, when's the last time you asked for business? And a lot of times we're like, oh, well, they know I'm here and I'm communicating. I've got one of my signature things that I do with clients is I work with them one-on-one. So, there's a small group of people that I can work with one-on-one, let's say 8 to 10 people. Well, I have 3 people in that 12-week that I'm working with one-on-one that they're coming due, if you will. Their 12 weeks is coming up in May. So I'm able to free up. I've got time to work with 3 more new one-on-one clients. So I sent out a message this week about that. Hey, I could work with 3 more people starting this month. And, I've already got, 2 new clients out of that, phone calls that are scheduled. And I could have said, well, they know I'm here, right? But sometimes you just need to flat out say, hey, let's work together. Let's hop on the phone. Let's talk. So maybe your sales and marketing funnel is broken there. I don't know. Or is it the bottom part of your funnel, right? Maybe you're doing a great job working your marketing plan and you're keeping in touch. You're dating your list, but no one's buying. So then I would want to ask you, well, maybe it's your offer. Like, what is it that you're selling? Do you have offers that sell themselves? And because right now in this day and age, it is less about information. People are not wanting to buy as much information, right? Because they feel like, well, I can get free information, right? I'm sure it's not as good as your information, like if you have an information product or something like that. But it's much more on results. Like I'm not into selling information products. Like I want to sell that I'm going to get this client results, right? They want to double or triple their list. They want new clients. They want to feel like they've got every aspect of their sales and marketing funnel up and running. They want their business truly transformed in the shortest amount of time. So that's what I sell. I don't sell information, a training like each week they're just going to get a new training module, or I don't sell my time. Like I don't say my hourly rate is $100. Like I don't even talk about my hourly rate. I talk about that transformation that I'm personally committed to getting for them. That's how I work. Like I'm not satisfied personally until I'm working with someone one-on-one and their business is truly transformed in 12 weeks. So ask yourself that. What are you selling? And is it something that they're hungry for? Or is it something that people hear what you're having to sell and they're like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that would be helpful, but they're not buying. If that's the case, if they're saying, oh, that's cool, that's interesting, cool, but they're not buying, something is broken. Or maybe it's just your conversion mechanism. I mean, how are you converting people to sales? Is it a sales conversation? Does it warrant, because it's normally like $500 or more, does it warrant picking up the phone or having people say, hey, Claire, I want to have a conversation. Let's talk. Does it require that one-on-one time? My services does. Or is it just a sales page? Is it like a $100 item and it could just be a sales page? But is your sales page really, truly selling for you? I mean, the mass majority of sales pages I see out there on people's websites, it's not doing you any justice. It's not converting. It's broken. And maybe just reminding them, right? Hey, let's chat. Are you struggling? Let's talk. Reminding them and actually asking for the sale, which I sort of said in the last slide, but I know some folks, I've talked to someone at a networking event last week, and she said, yeah, I created this great program. I sent it out, and there wasn't any interest. And I said, one email? One email is not going to do it. It's not going to cut it. So somehow your conversion mechanism is broken or non-existent. Or it might just be you don't have enough people in your funnel. Right? It breaks my heart when, especially this happens with service-based providers. Like let's just say a health coach, for example, and she has worked like the last 3 months on putting together this most perfect program. Right? It's this detox program, and it's got all the bells and whistles, and she's so upset now because she's like, no one's buying. And then I'll have to say, oh my gosh, but do you have anyone to sell it to? Like, who have you been dating? Like, who have you been building that relationship with? Right? Most times we just don't have enough people in your funnel, which is where you want to focus on the top 2 parts of your funnel, because maybe you've been working more on the behind-the-scenes stuff, right? Your website, getting a perfect tagline, or the training program and getting all the bells and whistles, but you're like, you get frustrated. But don't get frustrated. Let's just open up the top 2 parts of your sales and marketing funnel. So that's huge, right? These are the 3 parts of your funnel. So I want you to be asking yourself. I won't ask you on the call. I know I've got everyone muted. But ask yourself, where do you think you might be clogged or non-existent? Is it that you probably don't have a robust enough marketing plan, that you're working consistently, and that you're ringing it for all it's worth? Or maybe it's you don't have a dating relationship or a keep-in-touch strategy. Or maybe it's that you're just not having the best sales conversion mechanism. Something is broken there. But that's huge, ladies. So ask yourself, and what's been tripping you up? What do you think has been tripping you up? Because maybe you've heard, oh, yeah, I know I'm supposed to have an ideal client, or, gosh, I can see why it's important to have a marketing plan, or I can see why it's important to have a keep-in-touch strategy. What's been tripping you up? It might be the shiny object syndrome, right? And we're very prone to it because there's so many cool ideas and creative ideas. But ladies, if we move from one thing to the next, before you get a sales and marketing funnel, like I would almost stop everything else. Take a look at your sales and marketing funnel and start getting these things in place. And if you feel like all 3 parts of the sales and marketing funnel are broken, start at the top, your marketing plan, and get that up and running. And then your keep-in-touch strategy. And then work on the last part. I mean, I can tell you that I started building my list and deepening a relationship with my list before I even had anything to sell. So start with the top part of your funnel and just say no to the shiny object syndrome. You do know it's crippling you, right? It's totally crippling you. Less is more. Just create a plan and just focus on that. So part of my plan does not have Google+. It does not have Pinterest, and I'm okay with that. Maybe down the road it will. But I'm not going to get sidetracked by that. I have a plan. I'm going to work the plan. And another thing that's been tripping you up probably is you've been moving on too soon, right? And you could think of it. I wish this visual had a woman pushing this boulder up the hill. But, I mean, to be honest, when you create a new marketing strategy, there's a lot of work, right? So maybe you want to start doing your first webinar. There is a lot to it. Well, what am I going to talk about? How do people actually opt into this webinar? How do I market the webinar? How do I follow up after the webinar? There's a lot to it. And then sometimes what we do is we do that, right, whether it's work on getting a Facebook page up or a website and a blog site, or you're going to work at a trade show or an expo or a booth. There's a lot of work with that, right? And then what happens is we do all that work, and we're like, oh, that didn't work for me. You know, I didn't get any business from that webinar. And we let that boulder slide back down the hill this side instead of keep doing it. Be consistent, and then that boulder is going to go over the other side of the hill, and it's going to be like, whee! You know, like, oh my gosh, where's all this business coming from? Where's all this stuff coming from? It's because you were consistent. You have a plan, and you work the plan. So please think of that boulder. And instead what happens is I see people, they let that boulder slide back down, right? And I see all these blog sites that look wonderful, but they lay dormant. They haven't posted anything. Or a Facebook page, and I'm like, gosh, you haven't communicated in like 3 weeks. You spent all that time and energy, and you stopped. So don't stop. Or, and this might sound weird coming from me, but what might be tripping you up is you've been blindly listening to the experts. And this is a fine line, right? Because of course we want to listen to the experts, people who are where we are and that are teaching us how to get there. But it can also get confusing because, of course, a Facebook expert is going to say you have to be on Facebook. And, of course, a blogging expert is going to say you have to be on blogging. And a Google+, you have to be on Google+. No, maybe you should, or maybe it makes sense. I don't even want to say shoulds or must. Maybe it makes sense, or maybe it doesn't. So you got to go with your gut, right? Get a plan on paper, figure out your ideal client and where they're hanging out and what feels right. And just work that. If you can just work your plan consistently, oh my gosh, ladies, that is huge. And it gives you such a sense of relief and peace that when someone says, oh, you need to be on Google+, I'll say, no, I don't. You know, maybe it'll be part of my strategy next year when I relook at my strategy. But right now I've got plenty on my plate. And it's going to value me, it's going to benefit me most if I just stick with my plan, the parts of the plan that feel right and authentic, right, and just get better at my plan. Or maybe you've been on this learning roller coaster. Oh, my gosh, I know this is huge. And so many clients come to me, and they're like, oh, my gosh, Claire, I've taken this program and this program and this program and this program, and I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not doing it. And it's for different reasons, right? Sometimes we just feel like we just need to know a little bit more before we get out there. Or generally it's just that something is tripping us up from implementing. So just get off the learning roller coaster. I mean, of course we want to continue to learn, but implement. Ladies, let's just get to work. It doesn't need to be perfect. Let's just get our sales and marketing funnel up and running, okay? And most people, let me see if I can get I don't know if I can get my pen back here. Let me see. No, it's not working. That's okay. So another thing that's been tripping so many people up is they just do it on their own, right? There is a lot to getting a sales and marketing funnel up and running, but you can get it up and running pretty quickly. You truly can get your plan up and running, a couple of those rinse and repeat strategies, get your keep in touch strategy up and running, and figure out your sales conversion process, and just get it up and running. That's huge. You're going to see the results. And then we want to keep perfecting it. And I can tell you every quarter I relook at my sales and marketing funnel. I've got all three parts up and running, but every quarter I can perfect it. I can become more expert. I've got lots of room for improvement. So it's not a once and done type of thing. But to get your sales and marketing funnel up and running, you could do it pretty quickly. But unfortunately what happens is most people try to do it on their own, right? And they're this bottom line, or maybe not even just do it on their own, but they take like a little, info product here and a free webinar here, and, because we're a sponge for information, but we didn't get it up and running. We didn't implement. And it can take 2 to 5 years on average for folks to have all three parts of their sales and marketing funnel up and running: a marketing plan, a keep-in-touch strategy, and these offers that sell themselves, and a conversion mechanism into that offer. Or you can reach out to somebody and actually someone who's going to hold you accountable and give you a kick in the skirt and implement these things. See the profitability if you can actually get these things up and running as quickly as possible. So that's huge. The bottom line, ladies, is to get a whole slew of new, hungry, ideal leads and clients each and every month. It's about being you. It's about creating a plan that feels natural and authentic, right? Getting it on paper and working the plan. And then, yes, you get things up and running, and then you become more expert with the plan. Like I could tell you that I've been doing these videos, once-a-week videos, and part of it was just me saying, okay, that's a new strategy of mine. Let me get this up and running, right? Figuring out how to record the video, how to upload the video, what do I talk about. I've got all that down pat. But I can make those much, much more professional. I can make sure that when they're on YouTube, that they're on a branded YouTube channel, right, and they're super keyword rich. So you could see how, again, even once you've got your plan up and running, every quarter just look at it and say, how can I become more expert of this? How can I maximize this for all it's worth? And it's about being consistent, and giving yourself a whole heck of a lot of grace along the way. Remember those 6 circles I showed you? There's a lot to it. The most simple thing would be to get a sales and marketing funnel up and running. Again, knowing that we're continue to be this work in progress. And lastly, just get into action. Just do it. It doesn't need to be perfect. I'm not about perfection. I'm like, done is better than perfect. Let me just get it up and running, and I'll keep perfecting it along the way. So maybe you can embrace that mantra. Done is better than perfect. Right? Get into action and implement, because information is not going to get you, ladies, where you want to be. This business that you love, right, where it's running on all cylinders, and you love it, and it's family focused, and it's streamlined, and it's highly profitable. Information is not going to get you there or get you there quick enough at all. So the question is, you can do this. You can get a sales and marketing funnel up and running and get a steady stream of new ideal clients each and every month. But are you going to do it the way of you doing it yourself, or can you reach out to somebody? And not just me. There's plenty of people out there. Find someone who resonates with you, a mentor who's going to walk you through and actually get these things implemented, up and running. So, ladies, I know our time is almost up. We've got 3 minutes. Feel free to go ahead actually in the chat function and chat if there's any questions. And I will also, when I send out a recording, I'll give the opportunity to go ahead and hit reply if there's any questions you have with the parts of the sales and marketing funnel we talked about. But I actually did want to extend the opportunity for us just to chat, right? No strings attached at all. Let's hop on the phone, because you might see the value in having the sales and marketing funnel up and running. It's a necessity for a highly profitable business, but maybe you're not sure how to get yours up and running. Maybe you're not sure what should be in your marketing plan, or what type of keep-in-touch strategy, or maybe you're clogged at the bottom part and people are not buying, and you're just not sure why. So let's hop on the phone and let's take a look at your sales and marketing funnel, and let's talk about ways to streamline and maximize it for all it is worth. I'd love to give you some things to consider to tweak your sales and marketing funnel so you truly can say, Claire, I do. Gosh, look at this. I do. I've got a steady stream of new, ideal, hungry leads and clients coming into my business each and every month. So just go to talkwithclaire.com, and I would love to chat. And those of you who've known me for some time, those of you we've ever chatted before, hopefully you know that, and you know that that's one of the biggest joys that I have is actually hopping on the phone and just talking with another business owner about your business and about some things that maybe have been tripping you up and giving you some thoughts to get past that. So it's like one of my biggest joys ever is just to hop on the phone with another businesswoman, breathe belief into you, let you see it's possible, give you some ideas to actually, and that kick in the skirt, to implement, right, to go from beyond ideas and actually implement it in your business. And done is better than perfect, right? So again, go to talkwithclaire.com, and I'm here to support you. Absolutely. So again, when I send out the recording, feel free, if you think of any questions, go ahead and hit reply, and I'd love to hear some of your questions, and I'll absolutely take the time to reply back to you. So, all right, ladies, you can do this, right? You can so do this. It is so doable. You see these people that have these businesses, they're no different than you. No different. None. They're probably just a little bit further on the journey than you. right? But you can, like I said, take years off that implementation process, years off that process to get the results you want when you have a strong sales and marketing funnel. All right, ladies, again, thank you so much for your time. I know your time is so valuable and you're super, super busy, so I just appreciate your time and spending that time with me. And just know in the meantime that I am cheering you on. So, all right, ladies, have a good one. We'll end now. Bye.